My name is Leah Krohn, and I work on the principal-based management team here at Stand Together. If you're watching this video today, then odds are you've been thinking a lot about how to add people to your organization that can help you build and drive the culture that's going to lead to your success. You're not alone. And today in this video, we're going to talk about 2 practices that you can begin to experiment with the next time you sit down to have a conversation about hiring. Both of them can be deployed as organizational practices if you want, but that's not where you need to start. They're mental models that you can adapt and act on right away. The first is the Virtue and Talents Matrix, and the second is how you can begin thinking about culture as soon as you start working on a job description. Let's dive in. We think that all relationships should be mutually beneficial, and that employment is no different. An employee should be making progress on their own self-actualization journey, growing in ways that are important to them, and of course, making a living. But they should be doing that while helping the organization accomplish its goals, and this includes developing its culture. Let's get started with the Virtue and Talents Matrix. It's named for the Virtue and Talents dimension of our principle-based management philosophy, and is a way that you can think about the specific risks involved in an employment decision and identify resources that you might have to mitigate them. Now, any decision that you make involves risk, and decisions about people are included in that. So using the Virtue and Talents Matrix, you can try to get specific about the type of risk that you believe you're taking, and also think through what resources you have at your disposal to mitigate that risk. Let's walk through the matrix. It's a simple 2x2. And on the horizontal axis, we have the knowledge and skills to meet or exceed expectations in the role, while on the vertical axis, we have the values and beliefs consistent with those of your organization. Candidates or employees who are contributing in Quadrant 1 have the values and beliefs that are aligned with your organization and also have the knowledge and skills to meet or exceed expectations in the role as you've designed it for them. But nobody's perfect, and inevitably you meet candidates who are not prepared on day 1 to contribute in Quadrant 1. So let's talk about what you can do using this matrix to help you organize your thinking. Say you want to hire someone to lead a team, and you know that one of the responsibilities that you anticipate with that position is hiring others to join the team. So you've got a requirement that the person have experience interviewing and hiring. But you meet a candidate who lacks that experience. There are 2 things that you can do to try to move them into Quadrant 1. You can change the responsibilities so that someone else is carrying those responsibilities of hiring and interviewing, or you can help the candidate gain those skills. Either one could move them up into the first quadrant with their contribution. Your potential resources for helping that candidate gain new skills might be watching videos like this, or even attending training with Stand Together, shadowing members of your team who are skilled interviewers, asking someone to be an interviewing partner and offer feedback and coaching to that person. You've got a lot of options, but you want to try to be specific and answer the question, do I have the resources to help this person learn and grow and move into Quadrant 1? Now let's apply this to culture. One of the values that's critical to us here at Stand Together is principled entrepreneurship. So I'm going to use that as my example. We want employees who push back against the status quo, who are interested in new solutions and solution-oriented in their thinking, who don't wait to be told, but rather demonstrate initiative when they're facing challenges or obstacles. And let's say this candidate that you've met does not demonstrate those behaviors in the way that they've answered your interview questions. What do you do? Well, you can think through whether or not the candidate demonstrated openness on coaching and growth in other areas of their work. And you can also think through, historically, what's your effectiveness, especially if you're going to be the supervisor? What's your effectiveness helping people grow as entrepreneurs in your organization? And what's worked? How can you integrate that into their onboarding plan and from day 1, be helping this candidate grow as an entrepreneur in your organization? If you don't think that you can carry that risk, if you don't think you have the resources to mitigate it, it might not be a smart decision for you to make to bring this person in if advancing your culture is a critical priority for that hire. Now, the second thing I told you we would talk about is working on culture right from the beginning of your search, when you write the job description. Inevitably, when you write a job description, you are probably thinking about the knowledge and skills that you're most eager to add to your organization. You can think the same way about culture. So, for example, I told you principled entrepreneurship is one of our values here at Stand Together. And you will often see language about an entrepreneurial contribution all over our job descriptions. You can do that yourself. So I'll give you a moment to think. What's an element of your culture that you might want to integrate into your job descriptions as a normal practice in the way that you do business? You can also apply this thinking about the specific circumstances that you're in right now. So for example, maybe in my team, a lot of people are working on demonstrating more entrepreneurship as an element of their professional development. We've just got gaps in that area across quite a few people. I might say the next person that I bring into this organization or this team, regardless of if they have formal leadership responsibility, I want them to be able to be a role model for entrepreneurial behavior and thinking for their teammates. I want it to be someone who could challenge or mentor their teammates and help them grow in this way. And so while I may not always have a particular emphasis on entrepreneurship in my hiring, right now, that's an area where I don't want to take a lot of risk, and I maybe proactively want to seek out someone who's very high in entrepreneurship behavior. I can integrate that into my job description, and I can talk to the people helping me make the hiring decision about that priority. So those are 2 practices that you can start to implement today or tomorrow, or just in your next conversation about hiring. So let's recap. We talked through 2 things that you can start to do the next time you have a conversation about hiring. One is the Virtue and Talents Matrix, which can help you organize your thinking about the risks associated with that hiring decision and the resources you have to mitigate it. And the second was integrating culture into your job descriptions, both thinking broadly about your values and specifically about risks and resources you are willing to take or eager to add right now. Please don't hesitate to reach out to your contact at Stand Together and let us know how it's going. Let them know what you've been up to, and let us know if there are any additional resources that we could offer to help you build the culture of your organization.